Welcome to the unit on Argumentative Communication. By the end of this unit, you should be able to define argumentation and persuasion and explain their significance in effective communication, identify and apply rhetorical appeals in constructing persuasive messages, analyze and evaluate arguments in various contexts, recognizing strengths, weaknesses, and logical fallacies, develop coherent and logical arguments supported by credible evidence and reasoning in writing editorials and opinion articles, and employ various persuasive techniques and strategies to influence an audience's beliefs or behaviors in oral and written communication. Communication by and for argumentation and persuasion is essential in various contexts, from academic discussions and public debates to everyday conversations. Understanding the principles of argumentation equips students with the skills needed to construct logical, coherent arguments supported by evidence and reasoning. Additionally, persuasive communication is vital in motivating individuals to adopt new perspectives, support causes, or take specific actions. In this unit, we shall explore the various strategies and techniques involved in effective argumentation and persuasion. This includes understanding rhetorical appeals such as ethos, pathos, and logos. We shall learn how to identify and analyze arguments, recognize fallacies, and employ various rhetorical strategies to strengthen our own persuasive writing and speaking. By studying diverse examples from various fields, including politics, advertising, and social movements, we shall gain insights into how persuasive techniques can shape opinions and drive change. Constructing valid and sound arguments is foundational to effective communication in both academic and professional contexts. An argument typically consists of a claim, evidence, and reasoning. The effectiveness of an argument hinges on its validity or logical structure and soundness or truth of the premises. Here are the principles and techniques of editorial and opinion articles. First, clarity of purpose. Editorials should have a clear central argument or perspective. Writers must establish their own position early in the article and ensure that the argument remains focused throughout. Readers should be able to grasp the main point quickly. Second, a strong lead. The opening of an editorial is crucial for grabbing the reader's attention. A compelling lead includes a provocative statement, a relevant quote, or striking fact that sets the stage for the argument. Engaging leads encourage readers to continue reading. Third, evidence and reasoning. Editorials should be grounded in solid reasoning and evidence. Writers should provide facts, statistics, and examples to support the claim. This not only strengthens the argument, but also lends credibility to the editor's perspective. Fourth, address counter-arguments. Acknowledging and addressing opposing viewpoints demonstrates critical thinking and strengthens the writer's position. By respectfully countering alternative arguments, writers can show the robustness of their perspective and enhance their credibility. Fifth, personal voice and style. Editorials often allow for a more conversational tone compared to traditional journalistic writing. Writers should use their unique voice, incorporating personal anecdotes or experiences that relate to the topic. This humanizes the argument that makes it more relatable to the readers. Sixth, call to action. Many effective editorials end with a call to action, encouraging readers to take specific steps or reconsider their perspectives. This might involve advocating for policy changes, community involvement, or further discussion on the issue. A strong call to action can motivate readers to engage more deeply with the topic. Seventh, conciseness and focus. Opinion articles, including editorials, typically have limited word counts, necessitating clear and concise writing. Writers should avoid jargon, overly complex sentences, or extraneous details. Each sentence should contribute to advancing the main argument. Eighth, editing and revising. Finally, effective opinion writing, including editorials, requires thorough editing and revision. Writers should review their articles for clarity, coherence, and logical flow. Seeking feedback from peers can also help refine the argument and enhance the overall quality of the piece. Editorial is an article in a journalistic publication that expresses the organization's stand or opinion about a particular issue, controversy, or event, aiming to convince or persuade the readers to take a suggested course of action or belief. An editorial has the following elements: journalistic form of writing, organization's policy or principle, stand, viewpoint, or opinion, issue, controversy, or event, convincing arguments with evidence, and suggestion to take a specific course of action. An editorial is the collective expression of the publication's view on matters. It is a collective act. Therefore, although it is written by a member of the editorial board, it has no byline. In other words, the name of the writer does not appear on the article. Editorials have the following characteristics. First, it is formal, in that the language used is the standard, therefore avoid using colloquial and jargon language. It uses third person, he, she, it, they, or first person plural, we, point of view, but not the first person singular, I, point of view. Lastly, observe correct grammar. Second, it is organized, it is well planned, it is a product of an editorial board's thorough discussions about an issue, controversy, or event, follows an imaginary outline, it has clear parts, the introduction, body, and conclusion, and it revolves on a specific topic or subject. Third, it is coherent. Sentences and paragraphs flow logically and smoothly with the use of transitional devices. It is logical, of course, in that claims and assertions are supported with sound reasons. Arguments are backed up with relevant and sufficient pieces of evidence. It may also be argumentative in that it convinces the reader about a belief, attitude, or opinion. It briefly but clearly highlights a stand on issue, controversy, or event, and why the editors or the paper takes such stand, and it persuades the readers to take a prompt course of action or react to an issue or controversy. Of course, it has to be ethical. Staunch criticism over pressing issues still should uphold the principle of respect towards the rights of others. No libelous nor offensive remark is made against any person. Solutions or alternatives may be offered in dealing with certain issues. Lastly, it is interesting. It keeps the reader to read from the first word down to the last. The topic is familiar to the readers. It balances appeal to reason with impact to emotions without being emotional. It is about a timely topic that is either physically or psychologically proximate. 7 of the types of editorials are appreciation, argumentative, criticism, entertainment, informational, news, and refutation editorials. Appreciation editorial highlights achievements, positive contributions, or remarkable events, expresses gratitude or admiration toward an individual, group, or event. It celebrates milestones, cultural traditions, or significant successes. It focuses on inspiring and uplifting the audience, and it concludes with a call to sustain or emulate the appreciated actions. Argumentative editorial takes a firm stance on a controversial issue or policy. It provides logical reasoning supported by evidence to persuade the readers. It anticipates counter-arguments and addresses them effectively. It seeks to influence public opinion or advocate for a specific action, and it concludes with reinforcing the position and urging the audience to act. Critical editorial identifies and critiques shortcomings, failures, or controversial decisions. It provides evidence to support the critique and suggests solutions. It maintains a fair and balanced tone while holding accountable the concerned parties. It highlights the broader implications of the criticized actions or policies, and it concludes with a constructive call for change or improvement. Entertainment editorial focuses on topics related to arts, culture, films, music, or sports. It analyzes trends, performances, or events in a witty or engaging manner. It balances insight and humor to appeal to a broad audiences. It reflects on the cultural or societal impact of the entertainment industry, and it concludes with recommendations, reflections, or broader implications. Informational editorial provides background information on a current issue or event. It explains complex topics in simple and accessible language. It offers context, history, and data to enhance understanding. It avoids taking a strong stance but may offer subtle insights or implications, and concludes by summarizing key points and emphasizing their significance. News editorial focuses on analyzing and interpreting a recent newsworthy event, provides additional context, insight, or implications of the event. It highlights its importance or relevance to the public. It balances neutrality with a focus on fostering understanding and discussion, and it concludes by emphasizing the potential outcomes or future developments. Refutation editorial challenges a widely held belief, argument, or opinion with counter-arguments. It presents clear and well-supported evidence to dispute the opposing view. It deconstructs logical fallacies or inaccuracies in the opposing stance. It reinforces the credibility of the editorial's argument through factual support, and it concludes with a reaffirmation of the refuted claim and the editorial's position. Let's have this example of informational editorial. Building a strong foundation, the role of digital education in Philippine engineering. Engineering education in the Philippines stands at the crossroads of tradition and innovation. With rapid technological advancements shaping industries, digital education emerges as a crucial component in preparing future engineers to meet the demands of a globalized and tech-driven world. However, while its potential is immense, the integration of digital tools into engineering education faces significant challenges. This editorial examines the state of digital education and engineering, its transformative possibilities, and the steps needed to ensure its success. Digital education revolutionizes how engineering concepts are taught and applied. Virtual simulations, 3D modeling, and online collaborative platforms enable students to engage with complex designs and systems in ways traditional methods cannot achieve. Platforms like MATLAB, AutoCAD, and even virtual reality labs provide immersive learning experiences that help students grasp real-world engineering applications. Such tools are especially vital in a field where precision, innovation, and problem-solving skills are essential. However, access to these advanced resources remains a privilege rather than the norm in many Philippine institutions. The digital divide is one of the most pressing issues in integrating digital education into engineering programs. Many engineering students, particularly those in rural areas or state universities, struggle with inconsistent internet access and a lack of devices capable of running demanding software. Additionally, the high cost of licensed engineering tools creates an uneven playing field, favoring students from well-funded schools over those from resource-limited institutions. institutions. Without addressing these disparities, digital education risks widening the gap instead of bridging it. To tackle these challenges, collaborative efforts are needed among stakeholders. The government must prioritize the development of digital infrastructure in educational hubs nationwide, ensuring equitable access to fast internet and affordable devices. Partnerships with tech companies can help provide soft licenses, cloud-based engineering tools, and virtual lab access to schools at subsidized rates. Universities must also invest in faculty training programs to familiarize educators with the latest digital platforms and integrate them into the engineering curriculum effectively. Digital education holds the key to equipping Filipino engineering students with the skills and knowledge to excel in the competitive global industry. By embracing this transformative approach and addressing its challenges, the Philippines can produce engineers ready to design, innovate, and lead. The journey to this vision requires determination and collaboration, but the rewards of a technologically adept workforce driving national progress are well worth the effort. Here's an example of an argumentative editorial. Justice must prevail, supporting the Quadcom's call for accountability. The Quadcom's recommendation to file criminal charges against former President Rodrigo Duterte, Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, and Senator Christopher Bongo for their roles in the bloody war on drugs is a pivotal moment for justice in the Philippines. For years, the campaign against illegal drugs was marked by extrajudicial killings or EJKs and gross human rights violations, with thousands of lives lost in operations often shrouded in impunity. Holding these leaders accountable is not only a legal necessity, but a moral imperative. At its core, the war on drugs was senseless and disproportionate. While the government justified the campaign as a response to a national drug crisis, it quickly devolved into a bloodbath, targeting small-time users and pushers rather than addressing the systemic issues of drug abuse and trafficking. Data from independent watchdogs estimate that over 30,000 individuals were killed, many of whom were poor, unarmed, and denied due process. The human cost far outweighed any claimed benefits, leaving communities devastated and countless families mourning. The Quadcom's investigation revealed troubling patterns of abuse, including deliberate killings under the guise of legitimate operations, falsified police reports, and the systemic targeting of vulnerable communities. Duterte's public rhetoric, which often encouraged violence and undermined the rule of law, played a significant role in fostering this culture of impunity. De la Rosa, as the architect of Plan Tokhang, and Go, as Duterte's closest advisor, were instrumental in sustaining this machination of violence. Thus, these leaders must face justice for orchestrating and enabling these atrocities. Opponents of these recommendations argue that filing the charges would create a political instability or undermine the fight against illegal drugs. However, this argument ignores the essential role of accountability in a functioning democracy. By holding high-ranking officials to the same standards as ordinary citizens, the Philippines sends a powerful message in that no one is above the law. Justice is not only about punishing wrongdoing, but also about restoring faith in the legal system and deterring future abuses of power. The Quadcom's recommendation represents a crucial step in confronting the dark legacy of the drug war. Supporting it is a stand for justice, human dignity, and the rule of law. The lives lost in this campaign deserve more than a silence. They demand truth, accountability, and systemic change. The road to justice may be long, but it is a journey the nation must take to ensure that such tragedies are never repeated. Here's an example of criticism editorial: a betrayal of priorities. Congress fails education yet again. In a move that starkly contradicts the constitutional mandate to prioritize education, Congress has slashed the budget for the education sector in the 2025 General Appropriations Act. This decision is a betrayal of the nation's future and the millions of Filipino learners who rely on the government to uphold its promise of quality education for all. At a time when the country is grappling with learning losses, outdated facilities, and a widening digital divide, cutting education funding is not only unjustifiable but also deeply irresponsible. Article 14, Section 5, Paragraph 5 of the Philippine Constitution clearly states that the government must assign the highest budgetary priority to education to ensure adequate funding for its programs and needs. Yet, year after year, Congress seems to treat this provision as a mere suggestion rather than a binding obligation. The 2025 budget proposal slashes billions from critical programs, including the construction of classrooms, procurement of learning materials, and training for educators, programs that are already underfunded and struggling to meet current demands. The impact of this budget cut will be catastrophic. Overcrowded classrooms will persist, forcing students to learn in environments unfit for meaningful education. Schools in rural and underserved areas will continue to lack basic resources, such as textbooks and laboratory equipment. Teachers already overburdened and underpaid will have even fewer opportunities for professional development. Meanwhile, the global pandemic's lingering effects on education have yet to be fully addressed, with Filipino students ranking among the lowest in reading, math, and science performance in PISA assessments. Congress's decision reveals misplaced priorities. While funds for education are being reduced, allocations for less urgent sectors such as questionable infrastructure projects or pork barrel-like allocations continue to thrive. This glaring imbalance shows a lack of understanding or concern for the long-term importance of investing in human capital. A nation that neglects its education system cannot hope to compete in the global arena or address its persistent poverty and inequality. If the government is serious about its commitment to education, Congress must urgently reverse these cuts and reallocate funds to where they are most needed. Lawmakers must remember that education is not a privilege but a right enshrined in the Constitution and integral to nation building. Failure to uphold this mandate not only violates the law but also endangers the future of millions of Filipino children. The message is clear: prioritize education or risk dooming the country to perpetual stagnation. Here's an example of an entertainment editorial rekindling the magic of Filipino cinema at MMFF 2020. The 2024 Metro Manila Film Festival, or MMFF, is set to light up the holiday season once again, offering a mix of nostalgia, creativity, and fresh narratives that showcase the best of Filipino talent. For decades, the MMFF has been a cornerstone of Philippine cinema, championing local filmmakers, actors, and storytellers. This year, with its exciting lineup of films spanning various genres, the festival promises to celebrate not just entertainment but the cultural identity and resilience of the Filipino people. This year's MMFF marks a return to form with a renewed emphasis on originality and artistic merit. After years of criticism for relying too heavily on formulaic comedies and predictable family dramas, the festival has curated a diverse selection of entries that push the boundaries of storytelling. Audiences can look forward to gripping dramas, socially relevant narratives, and even a groundbreaking animated feature, all of which reflect the depth and diversity of the Philippine cinematic landscape. One standout feature of MMFF 2024 is its spotlight on regional stories. Films that draw from Visayan, Mindanaoan, and other regional cultures are stepping into the spotlight, breaking the Manila-centric mold that has long dominated the festival. This shift not only enriches the festival's offerings, but also underscores the importance of inclusivity and representation in our national cinema. By giving voice to stories from the margins, the MMFF is fostering a deeper connection among Filipinos regardless of geography. However, the festival's success also hinges on audience reception. In an age where streaming platforms dominate entertainment, the MMFF faces the challenge of drawing audiences back to cinemas. The organizers' efforts to partner with theaters and offer accessible ticket pricing are commendable, but a true key lies in the quality of the films. As such, it is imperative for the filmmakers to deliver works that resonate deeply with audiences, reminding them why the collective magic of the big screen is irreplaceable. As the festival unfolds, it is our hope that the MMFF continues to evolve as a platform for bold, meaningful, and distinctly Filipino cinematic narratives. Beyond box office numbers, the MMFF must remain a celebration of creativity and cultural heritage. Let this year's festival not just entertain but also inspire, rekindling our love for local cinema and reaffirming its vital role in shaping our national identity. An example of news editorial: Mary Jane Veloso's Freedom, a Victory for Justice and Hope. After 15 long years of incarceration, Mary Jane Veloso has finally been released from an Indonesian prison, marking the end of a harrowing chapter in her life and a triumph for justice, perseverance, and the indomitable human spirit. Her story, which began with a false promise of opportunity but spiraled into a nightmare of exploitation and imprisonment, has become a symbol of the plight of countless Filipinos who fall victim to human trafficking. Her release is a beacon of hope for those who continue to fight for justice in the face of overwhelming odds. Veloso was arrested in 2010 in Yogyakarta airport for carrying a 2.6 kilogram of heroin concealed in her luggage. She maintained her innocence, stating that she had been duped by her recruiters who preyed on her desperation to escape poverty and provide for her family. The Indonesian court sentenced her to death, but international outcry and persistent legal efforts led to a stay of execution in 2015, allowing her to testify against her recruiters in the Philippines. This pause ultimately opened the door to her eventual release. Her freedom is a testament to the tireless advocacy of her family, human rights groups, and the Filipino people. It underscores the power of collective action, public pressure, and the importance of diplomatic efforts. The Philippine government's role in negotiating her release, albeit criticized at times for its inconsistency, was instrumental in achieving this outcome. The Indonesian government's decision to free Veloso also demonstrates compassion and a willingness to acknowledge the broader context of her case as a victim of trafficking rather than as a criminal. However, Mary Jane's release is not the end of the story. It serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities faced by millions of Filipino migrant workers. Many continue to risk exploitation, trafficking, and imprisonment as they seek better lives abroad. The Philippine government must strengthen policies to protect overseas workers, crack down on illegal recruitment, and provide robust support systems for those in distress. Preventing another Mary Jane Veloso must be the nation's priority. Her release is a moment to celebrate, but it is also a call to action. Mary Jane Veloso's 15 years of suffering should galvanize efforts to fight human trafficking and ensure justice for victims. While her freedom symbolizes hope and redemption, it also demands accountability and reform. As the nation welcomes her back, let us honor her resilience by striving to create a society where no one must endure the same ordeal again. Here's an example of appreciation editorial: a year of trials, triumphs, and transformation. As 2024 draws to a close, it is worth taking a moment to reflect on the year that has been, a year marked by significant challenges, but also by remarkable progress and resilience. From moments of despair to shining triumphs, the events of 2024 have tested the spirit of the Filipino people and showcased our collective strength, creativity, and determination to rise above adversity. The year began with a pressing challenge of rebuilding communities devastated by recent natural disasters. Super typhoons like Christine reminded us of our vulnerability as an archipelago, yet they also became moments of unity as Filipinos from all walks of life mobilized to extend aid to the affected areas. The government's push to implement more climate-resilient infrastructure and improve disaster response systems provided a hopeful step forward, even as it highlighted the urgent need for sustained action against the looming climate crisis. On the economic front, 2024 saw steady recovery from the global downturn caused by the pandemic years. Key sectors such as agriculture and manufacturing showed signs of revitalization, aided by government initiatives and private sector investments. The burgeoning digital economy, particularly the rise of remote work and e-commerce, continued to empower young entrepreneurs, giving the Philippines an opportunity to shine in the global tech landscape. Yet, with inflation and economic disparities still a concern, the call for inclusive growth remains louder than ever. Education and the arts too witnessed milestones that deserve recognition. Despite budgetary challenges, Filipino students excelled in international competitions while our local filmmakers garnered accolades on the global stage. The success of Mary Jane Veloso's release after 15 years of wrongful imprisonment underscored the power of relentless advocacy and international solidarity. Her story is but one among many that have inspired hope and renewed faith in the pursuit of justice. Politically, 2024 was a year of reckoning. The Quad Commission's investigation into human rights violations during the war on drugs shook the nation, bringing accountability and justice into focus. While the recommendations to file criminal charges against key officials ignited debates, they also opened a new chapter in our commitment to the rule of law and the value of human life. This moment in history will undoubtedly shape the country's political landscape for years to come. As we look ahead to 2025, let us carry forward the lessons of 2024. From the trials we endured to the triumphs we celebrated, this year reminded us of the enduring Filipino spirit, undaunted, compassionate, and ever hopeful. It is with this spirit that we face the future, ready to embrace new challenges and seize new opportunities as one united nation. Here's an example of Refutation editorial. Mismanagement shouldn't punish the people. Congress's decision to slash the 2025 budget of PhilHealth, citing past instances of fund mismanagement, is a short-sighted response that harms the very people the agency is meant to serve. While accountability is critical, reducing financial support for the country's primary healthcare insurer is akin to treating a disease by weakening the patient. The decision fails to address the root cause of the problem and instead exacerbates the vulnerabilities of millions of people who rely on PhilHealth for essential healthcare services. The argument for the budget cut hinges on the claim that mismanagement within PhilHealth has led to wastage of public funds. This is a valid concern, but it is neither new nor unique to this institution. Similar issues have plagued other government agencies, yet the solution has never been to cripple their operations. The real issue lies in enforcing stricter oversight mechanisms and holding accountable those responsible for financial mismanagement, not depriving ordinary citizens of access to healthcare. Moreover, the decision ignores the ongoing health crises that require PhilHealth support. Slashing its budget will mean reduced subsidies for hospitalizations, fewer benefits for low-income families, and a weakened ability to respond to emergencies. These are not theoretical consequences. They are realities that will affect the lives of millions, particularly those who are already disadvantaged. The misdeeds of a few should not translate into collective punishment for the entire population. Cutting the budget sends the wrong message that the government is more willing to abandon its citizens' healthcare needs than to confront institutional inefficiencies. A balanced solution would involve retaining or increasing PhilHealth's budget while implementing stringent reforms to ensure transparency and efficiency. Independent audits, robust internal controls, and improved whistleblower protections can safeguard funds while maintaining the agency's capacity to serve the people. Congress's decision must be reconsidered. The mismanagement of funds is a problem that requires targeted solutions, not a blanket punishment that jeopardizes the health and welfare of millions. By combining fiscal accountability and adequate funding, the government can restore public trust in PhilHealth while fulfilling its constitutional duty to prioritize health care. Anything less is a betrayal of the people's right to health and dignity.